Okay, so before Mary and Renee, you guys were on here, I was mentioning if you have blocks, get them. If you don't have blocks, a stack of books will be helpful. We'll mostly be sitting on them for help during some arm balances. Because today is Vinyasa with an arm balance focus. So, and if you don't have books, then I don't know what to tell you. Then you're SOL. All right. We're going to start today sitting. So if you want to sit on a pillow, sit on your blocks, however you want to sit, we're going to sit cross-legged. And if you want to elevate, please feel free. I will spotlight myself and we'll get started. So nice to have everyone here. As we get going through, so we'll kind of, of course, do some warming up, some flow, and then I'll throw in some specific work on the arm balances. So today we're going to work on crow, side crow, and arm pressure pose, which is where your arms like wrap around your legs. So like I said, we'll do some warming up and some moving to get kind of into the place where we're ready for that. And feel free when I start to kind of break down some of those steps and we're using the blocks, feel free to unmute yourself if you have questions or you just want to unmute yourself and then proceed so that you can ask a question if it comes up and you don't have to like go to the laptop or computer, whatever, and unmute yourself. Okay. Let me do this. All right. Get my stuff. So for the time being, blocks can just be out of the way or under your butt. And like I said, we will start in Sukhasana, cross-leg pose. So arriving here to this shape, close your eyes. Take several deep breaths in and out. Feeling the air come into the body and out to fill you up, providing that life and energy, and then exhale, release, sending out the things that you do not need. Taking several rounds of breath in this way. Showing up to class. Arriving to your mat, to your space, to this shared practice with our little group today. Giving yourself the next hour of attention and time, focus on yourself to hopefully have a little fun, to respect any boundaries that you should and need to, and challenging yourself when you feel ready. In the next breaths, roll the shoulders, taking big circles. Just starting to feel into the physical body. Notice how the shoulders feel, how the neck feels. Maybe even the head and tension there. And then change the direction of your circles. Maybe using the connection of your hands onto your thighs as leverage or a little resistance. Nice. Take the shoulders up and shrug them up close to your ears. Inhale. Exhale, send them down, breathe out. Do that again. Inhale up. And down. One more. And down. Nice. Let your arms hang down to your sides, and then we take chin to chest. So roll your head side to side. As you do this, relax your mouth and your tongue, your jaw. Inviting in some stretch through the neck, upper back, maybe even down to the middle of your back. And the next time you swing your head around to the right side, I want you to pick your right arm up and lay it across your head. So your face should be kind of looking forward. If your eyes are open, that's up to you. But seeking out some length on the left side of your neck, maybe even down into the fingers. Good. Let that side go. Swing around and find the other side. Head faces forward. Lay the left arm on top of the head. Add a little pressure if you wish. And relax your right arm here. And then release, swing through the center a couple times. An option to lay both hands on the head and pull the head down. You can just hang out for a moment here as long as it feels comfortable. Nice. Slowly, we're going to sit all the way up. You reorient yourself. And then send your legs out in front of you and roll your ankles. So we're going to move the toes, shake the feet out. You can feel pretty compressed during Sukhasana. And then recross your legs, but I want you to put your other leg in front. So whichever one is your non-dominant side. All right, sitting up nice and tall. Inhale, reach your arms above your head. And exhale, twist to the right side. Taking your right hand behind your body and your left hand coming across the knee. Nice. Inhale, sit up taller. Exhale, twist a little farther. Stay here. Nice. Inhale, sit taller. Exhale, twist. One more time, one breath. Back through the center, reach up. Inhale, tall here. Arms go with you. And take it to the left side. So now left hand is behind you. Right hand is on your left knee. And add your breaths. Inhale, sit up. Crown of the head reaches to the sky. And then twist, exhale. Two more. Back to center, both arms reach to the sky, and we'll take it to the center, so reaching down to the middle, and walk your hands down and away. You can stay on your block, or you can sit on the floor, per usual, your choice, just taking it forward. If your head is connected to the floor, I want you to roll your forehead across the ground, and if your head is hanging, I want you to swing your head a little left and right. Just trying to continue with that release and that sense of ease here. Nice. One more breath. And then sit all the way up. Okay, final thing in Sukhasana. Lace your hands together and roll your wrists. Taking a figure 8 shape. Keeping your hands laced together, send your palms forward so your hands push away from you. Opening through your fingers, hopefully your whole palms. Nice. Stay with the lace and take it to a roller coaster. So if you can change the direction and go the other way. Good. Okay. Transitioning from your seat onto your knees, swing the legs around or cross. You can also cross forward. Onto the last stretch here for the wrists. I want you to turn your fingers towards your knees. So we're going to turn the hands to face backward. Now, depending on how far you lean back, the more angle you're going to get in the wrist. Now, you might find that you need to stay more shoulders over wrists at that 90 degrees, or maybe you can start to lean back and dig into that stretch further. Will be different for us all. Good. Okay. Let's start to come up out of that, rise up onto your knees and just give your wrists a little shake out. Good. Inhale, reach your arms up. Exhale, just turn your hands around and push down. 2 more. Inhale up. And push down. 1 more up. And reach to tabletop pose. Inhale to cow pose. Drop your belly, lift up your chin, maybe even bend your arms. Good, curve the back, look through your legs, cat pose. Nice, inhale, cow. And exhale, cat. Flow back and forth between these 2 poses, following your own breath. We're really just trying to create more space across the back and front halves of the body. Nice, 1 more full round, cow and cat. And then wag your tail, we're going side to side, noticing the shift of your weight through and over to one hand, and then through and over to the other. You can take the awareness to this weight shift. Nice, and then find the center, and we're going to lean the shoulders forward over the wrist. So start to lean forward, and then when you can't go any further, pull yourself back. And then again, slowly leaning shoulders out over those fingertips and pull back. This is especially important for crow pose as we lean forward. That's where the counterbalance comes from. Good, let's do 1 more together. Leaning out, engaging the belly, pull yourself back, and then rise up yet again onto your knees and shake the wrists. I'm going to try not to have us do too much on our hands in between these poses and work on some other areas of the body so we don't totally overdo it on our hands. All right, inhale, reach it up. This time I want you to twist to the right side. So drop your right arm back and your left arm forward. Good, inhale up to center. Twist left. Good, up to center. Curl your toes under, twist to the right, and drop your right hand down to find your heel. And then reach your left arm up. We'll take a little half camel here. If your heel's too far away, you can, of course, put your hand on your lower back. One more breath. And sweep up to the top, arms high, and twist left. Left hand down finds your heel or your back, and a little camel pose. Press the belly forward. Open your chest up toward the sky. Good, back to the center, arms reach up, and we're gonna sit back down. So sweep your legs to the side and swing your legs all the way to the front. Finding a small ball shape with the body, we're gonna start to work on the activation through the core, which is super important for crow pose. So finding your feet on the floor, reach your arms forward and take a very slow lower down toward the ground. You start to lean back, notice that engagement, go as slow as you can. Taking it all the way down to the floor. Then bring your knees to your chest, using your hands this time, find some freestyle movement. So maybe roll your legs in circles, or open out to frog pose, kick into a straddle, really whatever feels good here. Allowing the core to rest, to be not activated. Good, one more breath cycle. Nice, and then place your left foot down on the floor. Take your right leg to tabletop or 90 degrees bend and reach your hands up toward the ceiling. So we're gonna practice a one-sided crow, sort of the upside down version. So I want you to try to bring your right knee towards your right tricep, the back of your upper arm. And you might find that you have to push your left foot into the ground to lift your hips away from the floor to make this connection. This is going to require work in your leg as well as work in your belly, in your core. So just kind of holding there. It is a lot of work. You can imagine being hands on the ground. Now tuck your foot and bring your foot as close as you can to your butt. So the bend of your knee is very, very small. Good, now release everything and shake it out. You can windshield wiper your legs. It is a lot of work in your hip flexors as well, in the hip crease. Just taking a few breaths here. All right, together we're going to twist. So keep your knees close together, more or less. Both knees over to the right side. Open your left arm out to the left. Option to take your right hand onto your legs and add some pressure down. Depending on how open you feel in your twist today. And from this side twist, I want you to stay twisted to the side, but place a block underneath your two legs so that your legs are laying on a block. Okay, that's going to give them some elevation, or a pillow would work as well. And then we're going to take an upside down side crow. So extend your arms high to the sky. Flex your hands, imagine your hands are on the floor, and then bend your elbows and tap your right elbow towards your knees. So I'm just going to turn so you can see what it looks like if you need to look. So here we can, again, imagine we're tucking the feet close to the body. Hold your legs in as close as you can. And connecting right elbow to your left leg. You'll notice your left arm is just sort of hanging out over here. There's nothing touching it, which is how it should be when you're in side crow. Okay, release out of that. Coming through the center, take some freestyle movement. Rolling the legs, maybe rock and rolling if that feels good for you. Placing now your right foot on the floor. Left knee comes towards you, and we're going to take a half crow on this side. So arms to the sky, flex your hands back. And then try to press into the floor and lift your hips up slightly so your left knee can touch the back of your left arm. You give your elbows a little bend. Tuck your foot in close to your body. It's a lot of activation, a lot of work here. Stay hanging with that. Try to hold up into that pose. And then release. Nice. Roll the wrists, move the legs. Maybe windshield wiper. Okay, twist over to the left. So pull your knees up. Let your knees go left. Open your right arm to the right side. Option to place your left hand on your legs for that pressure. Few breaths in this twist, just relaxing into it. Trying to deepen the stretch in the two opposite directions. And noticing how that feels, the level of mobility that is available today. Good, and then taking a supported side curl on the floor. Your block will go under your legs. So the block goes under both the knees. You tuck your knees close up towards your body. Take your hands high to the sky, flex your wrists, and see if you can connect your left elbow to your left leg. Now we notice the right arm is floating out in space. Add a little pressure and push your knee into your arm and push your arm into your knee. So you're being your own source of effort and resistance. I'm creating a little bit more work for yourself. And let it go. Moving back through the center. Freestyle movement with the legs here. A roll of your wrists. And preparing to rock up to a seated position. If it feels good, take a couple back and forth. All right, placing your blocks on the floor beside you, we're gonna take some lifts of the butt. All right, so we're gonna kind of for low lasana, which is this pose, but on the floor where you're like, like that, but it's quite difficult. So we're just gonna start in this facing forward with our feet in front of us. So blocks are right up against the hips so that you can get your hands as best you can under or close to being under your shoulders. All right, feet are out in front, and I just want you to press into the blocks and try to lift your butt off the floor. Stay with that lift and try to here notice that we don't want to be a turtle. To get farther from the floor, you got to be out of your shell. So lift your head up. Okay, bring it down. Now roll your wrists in between. We're gonna do this 3 more times. Each one adding a little something, something. All right, so hands on the blocks, right beside the hips, if not just ever so slightly in front. Lifting the butt up. And now use your feet connection to the floor and try to push your butt backward. You might not be able to stay there, but you might be able to push and then kind of swing back. And then push and swing back. And then come down and take a rest, roll those wrists, remembering that fingers laying over the edge of the block rather than flat can provide a little bit of assistance there. They also make yoga wedges, which we can talk about after class if anyone needs a yoga wedge. Okay, so we're gonna try to lift one foot off the floor this time. Fingers go over your block, inhale, exhale, push. Now breathe and try to lift your right foot up. And then put it down and left foot, right foot, and left foot, and down. Roll it out. Already we're doing arm balances. All right, last one. If you want to give it a try to lift both feet even for a millisecond. Hands go down to the blocks. First, breathe in, breathe out. Breathe in, breathe out, try to lift. And maybe cross your ankles and then come down. Nice. All right, roll the wrists. If anyone has any questions before we move forward, speak now, unmute yourself. All right, so let's transition onto some Vinyasa flow. All right, so swing your legs around to the side, find tabletop. We keep the blocks nearby and starting to notice especially that core activation. I want you to do 3 more cow and cats. And when you curve up to cat pose, I really want you to squeeze your belly as much as you possibly can. Pressing away from the ground and transition to downward facing dog. So curl your toes under, send your butt high, and walk your dog. In this pose, again, we start to notice this little nuances that are important for the arm balance. So I want you to press away from the floor, which means push your butt higher up to the sky, bringing your shoulders closer to your ears. Finding that shoulder shrug. This creates a more active shoulder, supporting the body later when we're doing our arm balance. Now look at your hands and step all the way up. Take a ragdoll pose, bend your knees and grab your elbows. Sway a little side to side and shake your head. Remember to bend your knees as much as you need to really try to let the body hang loose here. Nice. Slowly stand all the way up. Arms reach overhead. Inhale. And then stand in Tadasana. Okay. Transition to sun salutation B. We're going to take a couple rounds and add in some crow action during this salutation. So, Tadasana pose. Inhale to chair. Sit back. Your feet are about hips distance and or touching and together. Okay, either one is fine. Take your hands down to your chest for prayer. Inhale here. And then start to twist to the right side, trying to hook your left elbow onto your right knee. Press your hands together and try to get your hands at your heart center. They might not go all the way, but they're closer to the heart center rather than to your armpit. Pressing elbow into knee and knee into elbow. All right, back to the top. Sit in your chair, inhale, and take it over to the left side. Again, hands to heart center, elbow to knee, knee to elbow. One more breath. And back to center chair, fold forward, lift halfway. Hands to the floor, step, take a chaturanga. Your version here. Getting down to the ground, lifting for a back bend. And then finding downward facing dog. Just briefly here, take one breath. Look at your hands, step your right foot forward, drop your back foot down at a diagonal, and rise up to warrior pose. Holding this warrior. If you want to save your arms even further, you could maybe grab your elbows behind your back. Totally up to you. Nice. Curl up onto your toes. So lift your back heel into the sky. We take crescent lunge. And now lower your arms down and bend your knee to find the floor. Low lunge. Hands to knee, lean it forward. The hips drive toward the front of the room. Good, hands to prayer pose. Lean back just a bit so your legs have to work. And then twist to the right side, elbow to knee. And again, press your hands not at your armpit, but rather trying to twist them to the heart center. 2 more breath cycles. Parisvrita Anjaneyasana, revolved low lunge. Nice, back to the top, arms reach up. Step your hands down or lay your hands down, and I want you to step your back foot forward to a forward fold. Lift up halfway, and then hands to the ground, step back, find a chaturanga. Inhaling to a back bend. And making your way to downward dog. Left side, step your left foot all the way up. Rise to warrior one, Virabhadrasana. Back foot is at that diagonal. Arms are up or maybe somewhere down. They're feeling tired. Press onto the toes in the back, lifting your heel off the ground. Lower your arms down and then bend your knee control to the floor. Leaning forward to low lunge. Your back toes can be under or flat, it doesn't really matter. Wherever you feel comfortable. Nice, hands to prayer. Lean back just a bit, legs are active. So pulling back, twist, elbow to knee, press and twist. Long spine, imagine someone pulling the top, the crown of your head up and away. So you're long and tall. Nice, back to center, reach your arms up, inhale, and lay them down to the ground, step up to a forward fold, and then stand all the way up. Arms overhead, inhale, exhale, lower your hands down. All right, finding your two blocks, if you have them, placing one behind you to stand on and one in front of you for your forehead. This is the most propped option for crow pose. If you don't think you need them, you absolutely don't have to use them. All right, so standing with your body in between the two blocks. Inhale, reach up. And exhale, fold forward. Lifting halfway. And then place your hands on the ground and step back to a downward dog. Looking at your hands, I want you to walk your hands in, walk your feet in, and then you can tiptoe to stand up onto your block. So here you'll start to bend your knees, and we can come all the way down to a little squat. So you can actually just like bend your knees, drop your butt, and maybe even like balance here for a second, just to get a feel for the block under your feet. Then we place the hands down and adjust the front block to be where we think our head will be if we lean forward. All right. Starting to think about this knee to back of arm connection. Lift your bottom up and try to feel that same pose we did upside down on our backs. As you lean forward, maybe your forehead touches the floor, and you can start to try to lift one foot at a time off the block. Very nice. Remember, pressing knee into arm, arm into knee. Really tucking the belly button up into the sky, butt up into the sky. Awesome job. Nice. After you've done a couple tries, come down, and I want you to sit onto the knees and move your block to the side. So we're just going to take a kneeling position here. Roll out your wrists. If you're feeling like you want to give the front crow another try, maybe with less blocks, you can take this time now to try again. And if you prefer to just sit and chill and rest, you can also do that. The first block I would eliminate would be the forehead block, and then the block under your feet. Nice. Adding a little pressure of the knees together as well, a little magnetization. Imagine those two knees have a magnet on them. They're pulling toward each other. Nice, Mary. Nice, Renee. I can't really see your head, but I can see your butt in the air, so that looks great. Nice, Liz. Beautiful. All right, so let's finish up what you're doing, transitioning out of that pose, coming back onto this kneeling position here. We're gonna take one more twist in this position. If this is not okay, then I just want you to sit on your butt. But if you're on this kneeling position, we'll take that option here. All right, so let's reach up, arms high over our heads, and then drop your right hand down and your left hand to your knee. So we're gonna get a little lean back with this twist. Like I said, you can absolutely do this seated instead of kneeling. Just a little bit different leverage and position. Back to the top, inhale, arms up. And twist left. Leaning back into your hand behind you. And rise to the center, arms up. Hands down, downward facing dog. Looking at your hands, step all the way forward, halfway lift, inhale. Forward fold, exhale. And stand all the way up. Arms overhead. And Tadasana pose. Step to the left side of your mat. So we're stepping over to the left edge. We're going to take a version of side crow, where you'll have the option to fly onto that side crow pose. But before we do that, I want everyone to try, even if you can do side crow, I want you to try it with the blocks under your hips, because it's actually quite fun and it's still good strengthening, but it makes things a lot easier. So put the blocks 2 on top of each other on the lowest setting and set them down into the middle of your mat. You're going to sit down kind of with just your right butt cheek on the blocks, so that as you lean over to the right side, the side of your hip will find the block. And so you might have to readjust. Maybe if I turn it this way, it's actually better. So you'll end up getting the side of your hip here, and this is going to help you float sideways. All right. So we're kind of sitting here. Pull your legs up close to you. And first, we're just going to take the twist. So put your hands out in front of you like you're pushing a wall. I'm high on my toes. My legs are tucked up into my body. So hands are out and ready. Turn. Left elbow will find your right knee at the end of the day. So you're going to reach down, lean onto the side of your hip, and readjust so that the side of your hips are on your blocks. Okay, from here, keep your arm connected to your knee. Bend your elbows and lean and try to pick your feet up. We have a lot of support there from the blocks, and you might need to readjust the position of your hip. But here you can really get a feel for the connection of your knees to your arm. And feel that right arm is out there kind of floating in space, still doing a lot of work, but it's not really touching your body much. Nice. So here you can have the choice. If you want to try to lift your hips off the block, you'll just press up onto your toes and sit off of the block and try the same exact thing. That block can stay underneath you, or you can try to lift up without the help of the block. But the block does make it quite fun. Nice, Liz. There you go. Yeah. And even as you lean forward, nice. Yeah, Mary, so Mary, try to keep your legs a little closer and tucked up into you, and just practicing with the block there, that is going to work on arm strength as you lean forward, trust as you lean your face toward the ground, core strength as you keep your legs in towards you. And then roll it all out. So let's take a break from that side. I want you to, from your seat, stand all the way up. Roll your shoulders and just kind of shake it out a little bit. Grab a sip of water if you need to. We'll just take a reset salutation. So you can leave your blocks there as long as you're aware of them. You can also scooch them out of the way if you wish. All right, we're going to do one sun salutation A as a reset between sides. So find your Tadasana. Stand tall. Maybe close your eyes and take a clearing breath. Inhale, reach your arms up. Exhale, fold forward. Lift halfway, breathe in. Hands to the ground. Skip your chaturanga and take a downward dog. Nice. Look at your hands. And then step up around your blocks. If they're there, halfway lift, inhale. Fold, exhale. Stand all the way up, arms over your head tall. And down to Tadasana. Stepping to the left. God, I can't get left and right correct today. Stepping to the right edge of your mat. Your blocks might be there already. You might need to adjust them, squat down, and find your left butt cheek on your blocks. So we're just gonna go the other way. I'll turn so you can. So same exact thing. Go onto your tippy toes and bring your knees up close into your body. Right here, we can feel a little connection between the legs happen. Woo! And maybe a fall off a block. Woo, gosh. All right, hands in front. Hands are flexed, so wrists are flexed. Bend your elbows, turn and face the left side. All right, right elbow will find your left knee at the end of the day. Hands will lean forward, finding the floor, and then rotate so the side of your left hip is on your blocks here. So you can really feel solid on your blocks. And then you can start to try to lean into your hands. Try to keep your knees close together, touching one another. And then maybe you can lift your feet off the mat. Nice. Working on that lower. If you feel that lower, you can just stay and hold. Work on the strength. Pressing into all your fingers. Rising up when you need a break. And knowing you can try that without your block and or with your block, okay? Without your block, remember, you're just gonna rise forward off your blocks, come into a squat, and do the same exact thing. Your butt will come up, kind of replacing the lift of the blocks, and have to lean into the hands there by yourself. Nice. Good try, good try. Awesome. Side crow is super, super hard because one of your arms is really, really taking the load of things. It requires flexibility in the wrists, flexibility there in the spine to get that twist. Definitely a toughie. Nice, Liz, yeah. Awesome. All right, take it down, take a rest. Roll it out. And while we're sitting here on our blocks stacked, we take our last arm balance pose. So I would say turn your blocks so they're sideways, so that they're like wide, and then you can sit your butt on those blocks. So if it's already like that, then you're fine. All right, so in arm pressure pose, the knees are wide, and we can actually find a supported malasana or yogi squat in this space. So take your legs out nice and wide, and you can place your elbows, and you can just like use your elbows and kind of get a little stretch here. You can separate the hands if you need to. Just opening it up there through the hips and the inner thighs. All right. So step your feet a little bit forward. I'm just going to rotate so that you have them a little bit in front of you, but still very wide. Your hands will take that same position, like we're stepping them on the wall and then lowering down. And the key is to now bring your feet, instead of being super wide, it's called arm pressure pose. It's to crawl your feet in so that your knees here can put pressure onto your arms. So before we do anything, I just want you to feel that. Walk your hands in, or walk your feet in, and try to get your hands kind of behind your feet, and then add a little squeeze, just like squeeze your own body, and feel that connection. So the pressure there is going to be returned by your arms also pushing into your legs. So it's a two-way street, knees into arms, arms into knees. Then we would bend the elbows and try to get your elbow up under your thigh. And then you're trying to get your leg onto the shelf that your elbow has made. And once you've done that, maybe you can get a little momentum, kind of lean back, and then try to rock up and lift your butt up off your blocks. which will maybe be possible and maybe not. The more you bend your elbows and kind of lean forward, it is a lot of core strength. Also, the farther you can crawl your hands under your body, the easier it will be to lift up. And in theory, your legs might then eventually come together and hook together. And your feet will find one another. They can come forward and cross, and then you could lift up. It's a lot of work though. So roll it out. Take a couple tries, roll your wrists. Without the blocks, you would do the same thing, a wide stance, hands would try to reach behind you, and you'd sit down on your elbows and then try to lift your feet up and take this sort of teetering back option. Oh God. Which you can also, of course, try. What will help also, if you're off your blocks, is actually put your hands now on your blocks and make your arms a little longer. So if you put your hands up on blocks underneath you, that will lift your hands off the floor and give you a little extra arm length. Yes, Liz, bring your blocks a little closer together, probably. Yeah. Remembering that it's not always your fault. It's not always because you're not strong enough. Sometimes it's your body, the length of your legs and arms. Nice. Awesome.
I'm just too much on my fingers. That's not.
Yeah, and that's, this angle, I mean, this is definitely beyond that 90 degrees. So it's a lot. The arm balance is always a lot in the wrist. So that wrist flexibility is super, super important. And
yeah, I mean, because otherwise you're just trying to balance on a couple of points of
exactly
supported fingers.
Liz, hands are too close together. Try to get them a little farther apart. Yeah, the kind of hands will kind of shimmy behind your heels.
What?
Nice. Yeah, there you go. Nice. I love that everyone's just sort of like falling over. That's also great. There you go, Mom.
Sweet.
Nice. Awesome. All right. Okay, so ditch the blocks. Maybe do you have any questions, Mom?
No, I just want to make sure that if I do it for a nanosecond, it counts.
Absolutely.
A nanosecond on the blocks.
Yay! Awesome job, everybody. All right, come to your seat. And we're gonna do a little flow to relax the body. Nice, Liz. So when you were actually doing that just now with your arms straight and your legs kind of crossed in front of you, that's another pose that you're supposed to like sit with your legs crossed, and I can't actually do it. And like lotus, and then you lift up. I think it's called like rooster pose, like Kukatasana or something. And that's a whole nother challenge. So I'll let you teach me that one. Okay. Check it out. Nice job, everybody. On your seat, let's send our legs forward, and we're going to find a little forward fold and flow down to the floor. So, legs extended, pull your toes back toward your body, and give your knees a little softness. Reach your arms up, inhale, and take it forward, exhale. Relaxed version here, okay? Just fold forward, relax your head, let it hang. Maybe sweep your head side to side. If it feels good, grab onto your ankles or your feet and take it down a little farther, okay? Just your favorite version of a forward fold here, as favorite as it can get. Nice, 2 more breaths. Sitting all the way up, arms high overhead. Bend your knees, lower your arms down, and slowly curl all the way back to the ground. Pull your knees to your chest, hug in your legs. And take a few conscious, slow breaths. Maybe moving your knees in circles. And take a bit of a counter pose for all of that curving over by taking bridge. So place your feet on the floor about as wide as your hips and lift your hips up toward the sky. Some work in the legs, but a nice opening stretch through the front half of the body. Breathe here. Maybe you can even bend your elbows and kind of tuck your hands under your lower back for a little extra lift or support. And then come all the way down. Pull your knees to your chest again. Opening up to happy baby. Send your feet up into the sky. Grab your ankles or your feet and bend your knees. Taking a big wide position with your legs. Start pulling one knee down and then the other rocking side to side. At the same time, trying to keep your tail and your sacrum, your low back on the ground. And 2 breath cycles. And then place your feet down onto the floor. We take one more bridge pose. If you'd like to take a supported bridge, you could absolutely use your block and support this bridge pose with your block. So lifting up, either staying in this more strengthening option or lowering your hips down onto your block, making sure that the back of your pelvis is on your block, not your lower back. Taking 3 big cycles of breath here. If you're supported on your block and you'd like to stay longer, please feel free to stay. We're going to be transitioning from this pose into any free choice poses, anything you still want to do or still need. So if that means you stay where you are, then that's also a good option. Nice. So taking this time in the next couple minutes to take any stretches that you still want to do. Whatever that means for you. As you close out practice, maybe elevating the feet up the wall or taking support on your shoulders here, your shoulder stand, anything that feels good. Using the next 4 or 5 breath cycles to complete whatever it is that you're doing. Checking in with the physical body, noticing how it feels, observing what was challenging during class today, what was fun, what was frustrating, what was easy. Remembering that it is a practice. And truly that not every poses are not always inaccessible because you're not strong enough or you're not flexible enough. There are other factors that will go into the challenges that you face. So just reminding yourself of that. Working on the things so that we can improve and we have the ability to improve. So slowly arrive to your Shavasana position of choice, wherever you'd like to finish your class. Whatever position is calling to you today to feel totally at rest, supported, and at ease. And as you sink into your Shavasana, giving yourself a little thank you, an imaginary pat on the back, or showing up, or maybe giving it a solid try, hopefully smiling along the way. Thanking your able body for being able to be here today. Taking a deep breath in and release. Sinking into Shavasana. The next couple of breaths, taking full rounds of inhale and exhale, and beginning to just move your fingers, your toes. Maybe rolling out your wrists that have worked hard today. Maybe stretching even your eyebrows, your mouth. And slowly working into a big full body stretch. And then pulling your knees up towards your chest. Taking a couple rounds of rocks to sit up. And finding any seated position. Arriving there, turning the palms facing up, hands open. Sitting tall, chest and heart open, crown reaching up, mind open, ready for whatever the week has in store for you, whatever's coming up. And trying to pull just a bit of this class beyond the mat. A little energy, a little effort, a little adventure, a little patience. Let's take the hands overhead, inhale, reach up high, and pull them down to heart center. We'll bow our heads in gratitude. And thanks everyone for being here.